I have to unmute us first.
Oh, are we muted? Hey, do I have
I
audio?
was muted on mine.
Do I have
There we
audio
go.
this week? How are we
Uh,
doing? I think I
yes.
have audio.
Uh,
Good job, everyone.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the stream. I'm Kel McDonald. I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
And I am Alina Pete. I make comics you can read at alinapete.com or weargeek.com. How y'all doing? I just got back
Yeah,
from visiting my family out on the island. Like literally like
cool.
a couple hours ago.
Fun times.
Yeah. I was going to be back on Sunday night, but they changed how they are doing their bookings for the ferry. So we were not able to book a ride home like we were hoping. So we had to stay until Tuesday when it was less crazy out there. I'm gonna draw us as Pokemon this week. What do you think?
All right. My favorite Pokemon is Espeon and or Umbreon.
Good. Those are some solid Pokemon. I quite
Um,
like Doduo. I know it's one of the dumbest Pokemon, but it's one of my favorites. And also, I really like Pidgey. Pidgey's just a good bird.
I mean, yeah, because you like your
I
birds,
like
and
my
he's a good
birds.
bird.
If I was a Pokemon trainer, I would definitely be one of those ones that just all flying type, and I'd be very easy to beat. But it wouldn't matter because it would just be me and my little bird friends by the side of the road getting beat
So
up
that
by like
answers my
12-year-olds.
question of if you were a gym leader, what type of gym would you have?
Oh yeah. Oh god. All
Um,
flying type. No problem. Like and all the bird
I would
ones.
probably be a dark type trainer
Good.
because I'm not allowed to be an evolution gym.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone would want to have an evolution gym because they're just awesome.
Um, so yeah, so it would be like Umbreon, Houndoom.
Good. Strong
Um,
choices.
I like Murkrow. Murkrow's pretty good.
Murkrow's very good. I like Murkrow as one of
Um,
the cool bird Pokemon.
and there's that cool like cat leopard Pokemon that like is dark poison.
Oh yeah.
So probably do that too.
That's a good one.
Um,
That's not from a generation I played though, so I can't remember.
yeah, I don't remember its name. It's not one that
This is
pulls
a
to
very
mind.
off-model Pokemon. I've gotten somewhere between that like little tiny blue bird Pokemon that's all made of clouds and Torchic.
That would be a good bird Pokemon to have because that Pokemon is also part dragon.
It's true, and that's very important because a lot of the flying types are real weak, and you'll get your butt kicked. You could be
Hey, half the
like
legendaries are flying types, so
well, I mean, true.
you could have all the fancy birds.
Yeah, I like the fancy birds, as evidenced by the fact that I have many fancy birds in my house.
I'm gonna look up what other dark Pokemon there are so I can like, what would my team be as a gym leader? Dark Pokemons.
What am I doing here?
Okay.
What's going on? I've not got these ears. I was gonna do like a Raichu ear.
So yeah, so I'd have Umbreon. I like Murkrow. I like Houndoom. Oh, I'd have a Tyranitar because those are beefy.
Oh, those are real beefy. I like those beefy boys.
Um, and then I get two more. And I feel like having a legendary is cheating if you're a gym leader.
Yes.
So
But also, like,
I'd
pick a cool
go with
Pokemon.
I would go with the crocodile guy.
Oh, yep.
Oh yeah, and then Scraggy, the guy that looks like he's holding up his pants.
I like Scraggy.
Yeah.
One of those like good no arm kind of like he looks like the little no arm guy from Undertale, but he's got arms.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are some good dark pokes.
I'm doing like somewhere between a wolf and an EV for you, but also like clearly a dark type Pokemon.
Yeah.
kind of got like an evil fox vibe going on right now. I'm gonna give you
I
more
was
fluff.
also the other type of team I would want is I would like to make a team that's all dogs, but that's
Oh,
also not a
nice.
specific type.
Yeah,
Um,
because you could do all dogs. Like there's a
and
good
have pretty
Yorkie.
good like you could well see you could have all dogs, but then still have a pretty good like typing because you have
Yeah.
Arcanine as fire.
Yep.
And then you get that wolf Pokemon
Yep.
that's rock
Yep.
that is the evolved form of rough rock. And then Granbull and its evolution are fairy type.
Yes.
So that would help you out.
Also, just in terms of dog breeds, like it's like you got like a pug, you got a corgi, you got a Yorkie,
Yeah.
you got just a hound.
And then there's like that electric dog Pokemon.
Yes, that's a little corgi boy.
That that Oh, I wasn't even thinking of the corgi. I was thinking of the old electric dog that looks like he has a pyramid on his head.
Oh, right.
Um,
Yes, that guy. I always forget about him.
Go for source. Yes, Leopard was the poison
Yes.
dark cat I was thinking of. So yeah, you could have a pretty good
Team going on
range of
there.
dogs.
Yeah.
And especially like are the evolutions, do those count as dogs?
I don't know. I would put
Some
them
of
in like
them
the
kind of look
fox kind of category.
they're most of them I think are foxes, but some of them like Jolteon, I think that looks more like a dog. Mostly because
Yeah.
it doesn't have a tail.
Yeah.
Um
The weirdest evolution.
um uh
There's our weird Pokemon. I'm just riffing at this point.
and then Glaceon kind of has floppy ears.
Yeah.
Um
Glaceon's also the most like I have an anime hairdo.
yes.
I am an anime heroine.
But it's ice, so it's the shittiest type.
Yep. I don't know what I'm doing here. What's happening? I've been on vacation until literally a few hours ago. And apparently cannot draw anymore.
um Other stuff that I've been watching on YouTube
Yep.
is there's this guy who's doing like a therapist reacts to different TV shows.
Oh, interesting.
Uh, and so what's funny is he's from England, so like sometimes there's therapy things that like I know are correct for America, but he like is critiquing them as inaccurate because
Right. Because that's not how
he
they do them with the
England's
NHS.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um because like it was specifically he was talking about he was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine
Mm.
and they were encouraging Jake to get therapy for a traumatic experience he had at work, and
Right.
he's like that's not a thing that happens, and it's like that's definitely a thing that happens in America because they don't want you to sue them for like trauma and stuff.
Right. Because you can do that. Yeah.
um
Aw.
but it's been fun to, like I watched him because he did therapist reacts to Always Sunny episodes,
Oh,
and
nice.
those are always hilarious.
Nice.
If you have any professional reacting to Always Sunny, I'm gonna watch that video because it's always a gem. Because the gang is horrible.
Yeah. And you need to have somebody going, okay, what? Okay, what? What
Uh,
though?
the funniest any professional watching reacting to Always Sunny is there's a YouTuber Legal Eagle who does a lawyer reacting to different media.
Oh, neat.
And he reacted to an episode where they're in a courtroom and Charlie Day starts to ramble about bird law, and he's like, "Bird law is not a thing." Uh, um, but yeah. But anyway, the therapist guy was fun. Is he was told to watch, if not all of Crazy Ex Girlfriend, at least a couple of songs from it.
Yeah.
So he watched the musical number of antidepressants are not such a big deal. Um, and he was like, "Oh, this is really catchy." And he really liked it and thought it was good information.
Good.
And then a thing that he appreciated it is in the song Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, they have a joke about they're not allowed to say brand names. And he
Mm,
goes, that's actually more helpful to me because we don't use the same brand names as America. So if an American patient
right.
comes in here asking for something, I look like an idiot because I don't know what they're talking about
Right.
frequently.
Right. Do they actually like use the medical name for drugs and?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
They because the song is like fluoxetine, fluoxetine, and they say like the actual
Cool.
medical name, and then they make their joke about we're not allowed to say brand names.
I do that in
Crazy
my household.
Ex-Girlfriends.
We I don't remember the brand names for a lot of things, drug wise,
Yeah,
because we just use the like actual medical term because Lane's a biologist. So like
yeah.
I know that loratadine is the histamine that I use. And then my mom was like, "What do you use? Like Claritin or Reactin?" And I was like, Loratadine?" She's like, "I haven't heard of that one. What is it?" And I'm like, "It's not it's what it's in some of those. I just don't remember which one's which."
See, I always buy the cheaper store brand versions,
Yeah,
so
me
I
too.
usually do
Yeah.
look up the actual thing.
Yeah, yeah. So you're like,
Um,
"Cool. I want whatever's in Claritin, but like cheaper."
so like I have I'm looking at my nasal spray and it's fluticasone propionate or
Mm.
something like that. I probably butchered that pronunciation, but I know like that's the thing to look for when I'm getting my
Yeah,
nasal
yeah.
spray.
And you're like, "Hell yeah, that's the stuff." And it's cheaper than whatever the brand name is.
Um,
Whew, I am still
if you haven't
slightly
seen Crazy
loopy.
Ex-Girlfriend, I highly recommend it because it's a good time, especially if you enjoy musicals.
Yeah, I have not, but I do enjoy musicals.
Um, it like I said, good time. It's kind of critiquing romantic comedies
Nice.
and how a lot of behaviors on it are problematic, uh, which is why she's a crazy ex girlfriend.
Yep.
Um, and then what's fun is when they gave her a diagnosis a couple of seasons in, they actually had a therapist watch the show and diagnose their character
Oh, cool.
based on her behavior. So they
And then they
didn't
went,
just say,
that is
"Oh,
canon now. That's in the show.
yeah." They went, "That is canon now," and that is one of the things that is
What, did she have like
brought up. Is
borderline
she
personality
gets her?
disorder or something? Or
Yes, she has borderline personality
yeah,
disorder,
yeah.
um, which is frustrating to her because, like, they had the therapist diagnose her and ask, like, what would the treatment be? Um, so she gets upset because it's not an easy treatment.
No.
But the ongoing thing is basically that she thinks a romantic relationship is going to fix all her problems.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem right there.
Yes, that is indeed a
Well,
problem.
there's your problem. No, it will just make your problems compounded because now you have to deal with someone else's problems too. And they have to deal with yours, and that's a problem. All right, what else am I doing here? I'm just warming up on some Glaceon because I have not drawn in quite a few days. Because I have been on
Uh, just
vacation.
just draw more Pokemon. All the pokes.
I saw somebody doing really cute pokefusions today. There's like a
Yeah?
Raichu Bulbasaur that was super cute. I like that one. And then what else was there? There was like a Charmander Raichu as well that was kind of neat. They were riffing on Raichu basically.
I remember at an anime convention I used to go to frequently, there was a person who would bring they would always dress as Ash,
Right.
and then they would dress their dog up as Charizard.
Oh no, that's very cute.
It's very good. And it was like a black dog, so they made it a shiny Charizard.
Oh, good.
It's good. MT Blade, thank you for stopping by, and I'm glad that you liked Sorcery 101 while it was running. I hope that you are enjoying the city between.
I should look at your chat. I'm gonna do that. I can see mine.
That's it. That's the only chat in my
Sweet.
chat.
I'm just now I'm stalking your chat as well. Gasp.
Creep.
I know. I believe my birds are stuck in the couch. They have wedged themselves in there because they are so happy to be home. We took them with us to the island, and they were like,
uh,
"Oh no, why are we in a different room? We hate
they're
it."
like, this is a different place and we don't like it.
Yep. And they
No.
were just barely starting to
Uh,
get used to it, and then we packed them up and took them on a boat because we're mean. We're very mean people. Meanest humans ever.
uh, if you like musicals, you know what else is a great musical? The Death Note musical.
Really?
Yes. It's excellent. It's maybe the best version of Death Note, in my opinion.
Huh. Interesting.
Partly because it stops when L dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big part of why it's great. But the other thing is like all the like songs are like half the songs are duets between Light and L, and um uh that and like it's super homoerotic and it's fucking great.
Good. Good.
Like the scene where they play tennis, that's a song, and like the stage spins,
Yep.
so they're like circling each other while they sing
Oh,
about
good.
trying to trip each other up.
Oh, good.
Um, and then what else is funny is so the demo album um, was written in English. Like they basically gave they hired a guy in America to make all the music.
Yep.
And he hadn't read it, and they gave him instructions, and then he like wrote all the music to it in English, sent it back, and then Japan translated back into Japanese. But
Good.
there was clearly some stuff that like in their instructions didn't quite line up with what like a cultural difference interpretation of that.
Right.
So like they're saying Misa is a pop star, and so he wrote a song for her that's very like Britney Spearsy, Mandy Moore-y.
Yep.
So that send that back to Japan, and after translating it, they like upped the tempo and the pitch, because J-pop is much more like
Yeah.
quicker,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
their pop stars are so they like adjusted it tempo wise to make it more J-pop.
Interesting.
Um, uh, uh, MT Blade, thank you. I have a lot of plans for the city between, and I just regret that I don't have time in the day to make my futuristic werewolves.
Gotta have future werewolves.
I was talking to Kate Ashwin earlier this morning about what to do with characters that are cops.
Just in any media that you're writing.
Yeah, because Connor and Maria are now well established to be cops. They
Yeah,
are the
yeah.
spooky cops.
Spooky cops.
Um, and I was like, well, I'm gonna keep them a cop because Connor has shifty motivations for being a cop that that like I feel like aren't really like if they're not they don't think they're falling into propaganda because it's kind of like so he's abusing his power
Mm-hmm.
textually um but maybe it is propaganda because he's just getting away with it but and then Maria I'm setting up for some not for a fall that is because she is trying to cop harder
Gotcha.
uh, and that's how I have dealt with these characters or cops uh but also, I told you I was changing the way the cops work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's not as bad.
I'm trying to think if I've written anything with cops in it. I don't think so.
Your sci-fi thing doesn't have any cops in it.
Not particularly. The group who is the main group are like space activists.
Good,
So they're like running around in the galaxy trying to deal with other people's problems on a very limited budget.
good.
Yeah, and there's kind of
That
no
sounds
police
fun.
in the galaxy because like there's so many different places that all sort of police themselves, and there's no one overarching, the empire or
Mm-hmm.
anything, which is a decision that was made pretty early on. I think before I even got there, because they were like, "That's a sci-fi trope that just happens all the time. Let's just not do it. There's no cops in space." Which
Uh,
gets brought up in an episode where there's pirates, and it's like, well, because there's no cops in space, now there's pirates.
I
Space
mean,
pirates.
that's a great place for pirates to hang out.
Yeah.
Hello, Tordo makes comics. Um,
Hello, hello. I've been riffing on this pokefusion for a while, and I love it. Just
good,
now, it's gone away from being a EV, whatever the wolf Pokemon is, Lycanroc, fusion, and is now just its own weird shadow thing. I like it a lot.
good, good. Uh, Night mode Lycanroc looks like a Sonic character.
Oh, night mode Lycanroc is like, yeah, is like super goth.
He is that's a lot of Sonic OC energy going into that
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Pokemon design.
I think I saw it described once as like the hot topic Pokemon, and I agree. That's a reasonable assessment.
I mean, there's also the Gothorito Pokemon, who's also the hot topic Pokemon,
Which
but
one's
that's
that?
like the guy hot topic Pokemon.
Yeah. What's the girl lolly Pokemon?
It's like Lolligoth or something like that.
Now I'm just Googling. Oh, I forgot about that one. I don't like that design. It's very weird.
Yeah. I don't like it when Pokemons look too human.
Nope, it's the worst. It's the most uncanny valley. Mr. Mime and this one, Gothorita. Oh, I hate it. It's got real human lips.
That's why I don't like a lot of the fighting Pokemon is they
They
look too
look like
human.
people. Yeah.
Except I do like um Mario Machito. I'm gonna
Oh,
just look at
Machoke?
this. No,
I love
it's
Machoke.
he looks like a pork bun.
Oh, that guy. Yes. Oh, I love him. The little dumpling
Yes,
man.
Yeah, he looks like a little dumpling.
He's great.
And
The thing is, he doesn't look human so much as he looks like a piece of
uh,
food.
yeah, that's why he's good.
That saves him. He looks edible.
Okay, his name is Mako Hita.
Mm.
Uh,
Have
and he turns
you?
into Hariyama.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Xiaolong Bao?
No, I am not.
Oh, they're really good. They're soup dumplings, so they've got like this lovely
Oh,
broth
then yes,
inside
I
when you bite
have
them.
had them. I'm just bad at
Oh, okay, sounds good.
remembering what things are
Yeah,
called.
yeah. I just found out there's like a come on brain work an abbreviation for them that I is apparently commonly used and I haven't seen it before, but it's just XLB instead of having to spell out Xiaolong
Good.
Bao. And I'm like, yeah, I like me some XLB. That's the good stuff. Give me
I
that
mean, they're
soup.
good.
Give me
Yeah.
them soupy
They're,
boys. It has been so long
um,
since I had dim sum. I think I told you
also this,
before that like my
oh,
metric for is COVID over enough for me to go back to restaurants is do I feel safe to go to a dim sum restaurant, which are all very close together. Like you got to sit real close to your neighbors, and I have not felt that yet, so it's not over. There, I like
yeah,
this.
that's not happened for me either.
No.
I got this week, I finished the new Peter Grant book.
Oh yeah.
And I like it. Have you read those books, the Rivers of London books?
I have not, but you've recommended them to me before, and I do want to check them out.
New one just came out, and it was very good. I There are talking foxes in it,
Good.
and the foxes all think they're spies.
Good.
So they're talking in like spy lingo, but they also clearly kind of don't know what they're saying. Like, um, because like the main character's doing an investigation, and then the fox is like reading over his shoulder and says, "Good counterintelligence move." And it's like, what? And then he starts to explain, and he says like examples of counterintelligence. Someone, you don't just tell someone, um, you don't just the fox says, you don't just get someone to join the Nationalist Socialist Party. You have to start them with small things. And the main character just goes, "Do you even know what the Nationalist Socialist Party is?" And the fox is like,
No.
yes. So
Good.
and it's like, anyway, continue your analogy.
Good.
But yeah, and they give the main character information in exchange for cheese puffs.
Oh, good. Cheese puffs, very important to Fox,
Yes.
as everyone knows. We're supposed to offer a kappa, cucumber, and a spy fox. Cheese puffs.
Give your spy fox the cheese puffs.
Yes, always have cheese puffs on hand.
Uh, so yeah. It was good because I was a little bit hesitant to check it out because the main plot of the Rivers of London books got resolved in book 7, and then book 8 was kind of like I I have a feeling that maybe the author didn't quite know what to do now that he has resolved his main plot.
Gotcha. And was just kind of like
Um,
flailing around for follow up.
yeah, like he made a story of the week, but maybe it wasn't as well thought out.
Mm, as the
Because
original.
the previous books he has usually like the monster of the week plot, but then like the B plot is the main thing to like
Right.
keep things interesting. And so kind of the B plot of the new one was that the main guy's girlfriend was pregnant.
Gotcha.
And that
Which is like,
wasn't he didn't
okay.
do a and it wasn't like bad, it just wasn't as good as previous books.
Right.
And now the new book is return to form is a
Gotcha.
good way to describe it. So
Oh, hey, Two Spirit. Yeah, I figured you'd be into this one. Into this
uh
particular drawing.
it's Two Spirit enjoying the
Various
Raichu Lichen
drawings.
Rock.
I've switched over to some. I'm just finishing up that one promo image for Diginerds. So I
Okay.
originally drew that on the stream like a month ago, right? And I had it
Mm-hmm.
nearly finished, and then the file corrupted, and so did my backup. So I've had to
Oh.
redraw it from memory,
Oh no.
and like it was almost done. And so I worked on other promo images since. So this is not the only one that we're going to go forward with, but it was the one that I was most happy with. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to recreate that. That's just what's happening now. I figured I was finally warmed up enough after some ridiculous Pokemon to do my actual homework and not just draw Pokemon all night.
I have to finish toning all these pages because I'm going to Joe's wedding this
Oh,
weekend.
nice.
Uh, so I gotta get all this shit done before I leave.
Oh, thanks, Gopher. Yeah, I think this version is as close as I could make it to the original, although I've changed up this guy over here with the like Gaucho outfit. I'm gonna make him Gaucho Batman because I realized the original didn't was mostly North American people, and I want to have indigenous folks from around the world, at least North and South America. So I do like Gaucho Batman. Little Andes kind of vibe. Is Gaucho Batman a thing? I hope it's a thing. I hope that's
I'm sure
actually a
that
thing.
someone has done that at some point.
I mean, Batman's like Wolverine. He's kind of gone everywhere through all time in various
Have you
writers.
seen the new Batman movie yet?
I have not. I have
I've not either. It
heard.
just popped up on HBO Max,
Ah,
so I might watch it sometime this week.
cool. I've heard that I think it was Southworth who was like, I didn't think I was gonna like this one. Actually did. It was pretty decent. And I was like, maybe I will give it a watch.
No.
I've had no interest in any Batman movie for some time.
Same. Um, Oddly enough, the thing that got me into it was a thread by Kelly Turnbull.
Oh, yes, I love Kelly Turnbull. Her
So
stuff is very rad.
she was posting about like so Batman is all awkward nerd guy, and like the Riddler is like Zodiac killer Reddit user.
Yeah.
Um, and so she's like, so clearly we're using like um, internet archetypes to make all the
Our heroes.
different Batman characters. And
Yeah.
it's like, so she's like, so I'd like to propose um, a Jake Paul style Joker. Um, or Logan Paul, one of those
One of
guys.
those. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
and they're like, just listen, hear me out. Like the next movie, in the background, you're just hearing about like someone broke into the shoe store and filled all the shoes with Jello, and
Yup.
just is doing dumb shit like that is not actually hurting
It's
anyone.
just
Um,
weird and
so
yeah.
and it's Batman just doesn't have time to deal with it because he has to fight the Penguin or whatever. Um, and then you get the finally Batman like gets Robin and is like, okay, Robin, I'm gonna deal with the Penguin and shit,
I need you to
and
do
like
with
the
this
important
guy.
stuff.
This
You go
weirdo.
deal with this guy who's doing all these dumb pranks and putting Jello in all the shoes in the mall and
He's
like
he's
just
a
stuff.
menace to the city, but not like a dangerous one.
Yeah, yeah. So he sends Robin to go deal with the Joker, and then the Joker beats Robin to death with a crowbar, like in that one comic.
Yes. Yes.
Because that would be the ultimate punchline to Logan Paul style Joker.
I still love my fashion influencer TikTok star vampire that I played very briefly uh, in the like 2 months that LARPs could be a thing before COVID got bad enough
Oh
again that
yeah.
LARPs shut down again. They were fun. They were very, very fun. They were like a gross bat-faced vampire who was like, I used to be pretty, but I am still pretty. I am more beautiful now because I am now more of a monster, and that's rad. And monsters are really in right now, so I'm making this my whole aesthetic. And their whole thing was that they were like, this is all totally just makeup, and I'm still just uploading my normal videos like always. Why would you think I'm a vampire? And anytime they talked to vampires older than them, nobody understood them because they were talking in pure
About
internet.
TikTok, yeah,
Yeah, and
pure
all
internet.
pure internet and all of the old vampires were like, I don't understand literally any of the words that you have just said.
Um, that'd be a good thing to do with a vampire. The other thing I read this week is the um the newest book in the utterly uninteresting adventures of Fred the vampire accountant.
Oh, good,
Um,
good, good, good.
uh, which I don't know if I told you about those. I like them because they're very tiny, dumb stories.
Excellent.
Like the second story is that Fred's one of Fred's supernatural friends is like, you need to go out and socialize more, Fred, and brings him to a LARP.
Good.
And then it turns out the guy running the LARP, his control the undead spell is a real spell.
Right.
So it affects Fred because he's the only undead at the
Right,
LARP.
right, because he's actually a vampire.
Yeah.
Good.
Um, so it's like that they wouldn't have caught him, and it wouldn't have happened if Fred hadn't been there.
Oh, Fred. Oh, Fred, why did you have to be
Uh,
there?
and then he is buddies with a mage lady who specializes in making potions so supernatural creatures can get high.
Oh, good.
Because
The
they
the
can't
supernatural drug
do
dealer.
that. Yeah, well, cause like they can't use normal drugs to get high, and they would like to get high.
Right.
So she has made special drugs, and they're not illegal because they're just magic.
Right. But they're just for supernatural folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So it's fun times.
Good, good.
Um,
Oh, there is a guy. What? Why can't you see my drawing? What's happening? What is happening? Okay, there. I weirdly full screened my drawing and then nobody could see it and they could only see my reference images.
Oh,
There.
weird.
Now I fixed it. I need to look up this Gaucho. There is actually a character for Batman called the Gaucho.
I don't have a lot of faith in it being culturally sensitive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's okay. Wow, that is a picture. I am looking at a series of Batmans, one of which is just regular Batman. One of which looks like Mothman. He's got like red eyes, and a black mask. That's cool. One of which is just a native question mark dude with a headdress and then the Batman mask. That's a problem. And
That
then
makes me think of Adventure Brothers.
Chief Man of Bats.
Hank.
That's his name.
Hank. Well, it's making me think of Adventure Brothers. Hank is left in the jungle and is like, "I will become the Bat," and like
Mm-hmm.
makes a impromptu Batman costume out of what's in the jungle.
Oh no, Chief Man of Bats is supposed to be Sue.
Oh
Oh
no!
no. And then the Gaucho is he's just a guy in a half a lucha mask? 'Cause Mexico, I guess. He's like just a
I guess
guy in like jeans and a wife beater and a leather jacket and then a half of a lucha mask. Least Batman. Cape Comics, y'all.
they're bad.
They're there. They're definitely there.
I I think I definitely have superhero fatigue. Uh, I'm sick of them.
Mm, no more
I don't want to hear about
soups.
them anymore.
No more capes. I desperately want to go and see everything everywhere all at once. I have heard
Same,
amazing reviews about it.
same.
While at the same time still having no idea what the movie is about, and I really want to keep it that way.
Oh, okay. I do kind of know what it's about.
Cool. All I know is like dimension hopping Michelle Yeoh, and that's all I need to know to get me in the door. And also, it's by the same guys who made what the hell is that song? Turn Down for What? That amazing music video. That's the director, and so I already know that the visual comedy style is going to be amazing. So yeah, I'm there. I'm there to watch it. I just don't want to go to an actual theater because nobody's wearing masks anymore in this here town.
Yeah,
It's a
that's why
problem.
I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for stuff to jump on HBO Max.
Yeah. Want to support Michelle Yeoh. Do not want to get COVID. Although I can be a little bit less careful now that I am not going to go see. I've already gone to go see my immune compromised sister and young niece.
I still need to figure out how I'm getting shit down to San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah, yeah. Me too, to be honest.
I was tempted to rent a car and drive it down. But that might be too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alina, if you want to drive down and pick me up along the way, I can help you drive down to San Diego.
Oh my god. No, I can't because that is in the middle of the three cons of Doom. So we have
Oh,
I always get the order wrong. I think it's Emerald City first, and then San
no, because
Diego, and then Gen Con.
Emerald City is I have it in my calendar. It is not. It's like a month after.
Okay. So
Um,
then maybe it's San Diego first, and then Gen Con, and then a week off, and then Emerald City.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm
That
going to be absolutely dead at the end of that month.
yeah. So if you have Gen Con the weekend after San Diego,
Yeah,
then you actually get 2 weekends off.
right. And I
So
will
it might
need
be
both
you
of
get
them.
San Diego free weekend, Gen Con free weekend, Emerald
Emerald
City.
City, yeah. That may be, in
Um,
fact, how that goes. I'm gonna die. It's gonna be great. Also, I will have to get back in the rhythm of cons. Sam and I were both saying after this past sort of Christmas Emerald City that we're like, oh, we've forgotten how to draw at conventions. We used to be able to like whip out pet portraits like
yeah.
many an hour, and now we're like, oh, I've gotten slower at drawing
Uh,
because I haven't had to have that
Corey,
same pressure.
Corey forgot that she was tabling with us at San Diego.
Oh no, is she
I,
coming?
I Well, she thought she wasn't, and then I told her, "Yeah, no, they rolled our table
Yeah,
over,
yeah,
price-wise." Like,
yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, well, then maybe I am coming."
yeah. You can just you don't have you can be there and not have to have paid because you've already paid.
Um, cause yeah, I was picking up a bandana at her
Mm,
place today.
cool. I have to go down to Seattle in a little bit.
Yeah, for
I'm
what?
getting my green card renewed, and they need me to go down and like get all my scans and stuff done. So I am going to venture down there for the day. I don't know that I'll be down there long enough to see anybody, but like I will probably try and grab taku, some of that fried chicken with the chef who was on Top
Yeah.
Chef last season, and I really enjoyed him. And I want to try his food. It's a place I was like, oh my god, we should go there for when we were all there for Christmas, Emerald
Yeah, and
City,
I
and
was
then it was
like,
like it's lined up forever.
yeah, it's lined up forever, and um I'm not a big fan of chicken.
Mm,
Like I'll eat it if you put it in front of me, but like it's never a thing that
you would
I'm
like seek
like,
out.
oh man, we got to go get that chicken.
Whereas I love chicken karaage. It's crunchy. I like that crunch. Give me them good crunchies.
I think it's like a texture thing about bird meat because I'm also kind of indifferent to turkey, and I've had
Mm.
ostrich before.
Thing is,
Um,
turkey is always done super dry, and tasteless. Ostrich doesn't
I
have a
don't,
lot of flavor to begin with, so you kind of have to do stuff to it to make it have flavor.
yeah.
But quail and squab are so tasty. Those are some good birds.
I like dark meat on turkey. I don't like the white meat.
Mm.
But I I like duck. Duck's
Oh,
okay.
duck's good. Duck's got some flavor. Were you there the Van Calf that we took a bunch of folks to out for like Peking duck?
No, I was not there for that, but next
Gotcha.
VinCaf that I'm there, we should do
We
that.
should do that. I know a couple real good places, and boy, that was tasty.
I'm
The nice,
not coming to this next VinCaf
yeah,
because I
yeah.
don't think I want to cross the border just
Not
yet
yet. Nope.
for cons.
Yeah, I will. I will be at that one because I don't have to cross a border, and also it's not that
And you
far
live
from my
there,
house.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
So it'd be weird for me not to do it, but I totally understand not wanting to go across a border right now. It's gonna be a weird Van Calf without like a lot of the Portland crowd, because like usually like a third of the con is practically people from Portland.
Yeah. Well, that's because Portland's just full of comic artists. Like you could
Yup,
throw a rock and hit 5 comic artists.
chock full. It's always tough when we go down to visit because it's like, right, there's like 20 people I want to see. I mean, the one time we've gone down to visit.
Well, I still live here, so
Yeah,
come say hi.
I will. Yeah, we did the Lycum exhibit last time, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I would do that one again. That was a cool
Um,
museum.
they had an ancient Egypt exhibit, and I'm annoyed that I missed it.
Huh.
Because it was like stuff that was touring that usually doesn't leave Egypt.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I hear you go for source. They've totally messed up a whole bunch of food animals that way to be like, let's produce more of them, but they'll have them be less flavorful. Same thing with tomatoes. They've maximized shelf life at the expense of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And we now know exactly which genes to put back the flavor, but we don't have the ability to just CRISPR them back in because we don't have the approvals on that yet. But we know we could do it. We could do it very quickly and easily if we needed to. Have better tomatoes that still last for a long time on the shelf, but taste good.
Violet, I really like blueberries.
Mm,
Blueberries are great. I also
yes.
think blueberries are funny because they don't like to grow in nice places.
Yes.
Like they specifically grow better in shitty dirt.
Yep. Like
Uh,
rocks. Like a rock
uh,
shelf.
See, Violet, bananas taste weird because all the good bananas died.
Oh, the Gros Michel.
Um, the
The
bananas
Cavendish.
that artificial banana flavor
Yeah.
is based off of, like, a plague killed them all.
Yep.
Um, we are now left with shitty bananas.
The Big Mikes.
Uh, I don't really like bananas either because of the texture.
Oh, I can't eat North American bananas anymore because I lived in Fiji for a while and they have banana trees just growing like in my yard. And so when I tried an actual fresh from a tree, perfectly ripe banana, I was like, oh no, this tastes good. This tastes unlike any banana I've ever tasted before. And now I can't eat the like mealy, really bland tasting bananas that you get at a grocery store. But I do not regret having been ruined for bananas because I have tasted perfect bananas.
Commercial blueberries are big, colorful, and tough, but totally flavorless compared to
Yup.
wild blueberries.
Yup, agreed.
Uh, I love blueberries.
Blueberries are delicious.
I recently found a recipe for a blueberry cake,
Ooh.
um, and I might try to make it.
Ooh.
Because I was trying to find cakes that were purple for various
Nice.
reasons.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to surprise a friend, and I needed a purple cake
Nice.
for that.
That wasn't just an ube.
Uh, I said friend is a picky eater,
Gotcha. Yeah.
so
So
I was not confident that they would
the
appreciate
potato,
said flavor.
the purple potato cake, probably not great then.
Yeah.
But I do love ube.
So yeah, so gotta make a purple cake, um, and then I have to figure out how to make gray frosting. Like, what's the right combination
Mm.
of food coloring to make frosting gray?
I this past Halloween accidentally used too much black food coloring in my Halloween bats. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it did very bad things to our digestion for like a week.
Did it make your poop blue?
kind of purple. It was real weird. It was very, very, very alarming.
I sent you a Discord message. That is what I am doing with said purple cake.
Oh, good. I'm going to check that out. Oh, rad. That sounds very cool.
Yeah, me and my buddy Kevin are gonna work on it.
Nice.
So it'll be fun. Um, and like, if we fuck up the blueberry cake, then we'll just make one of those funfetti, super artificially purple cakes. You know what flavor I really like? Artificial grape.
Mm.
Artificial grape is a great flavor.
Mm-hmm. It needs to be in more things than just medicine.
I mean, there's some candies for it, but yeah, I love artificial grape and I like artificial watermelon flavor.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are the things where it's like I like the artificial version better than the real version.
Mm-hmm.
Like real watermelon's okay, but it's just I really like those watermelon Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, those are
I don't know
good.
if you've ever had
I love
those.
Sour
Yeah,
Patch Kids. I was one of those kids who like would like burn their mouth because I ate too many sour candies.
that back when Facebook was fun, there was a Facebook group that was "Burnt My Mouth with Sour Patch Kids"
Good.
group.
Good.
Um, Back when the internet was wild and free.
Mm-hmm. Back when Facebook was fun is such a very narrow and specific period of time.
It's literally 2008.
Yep. Yep.
That's it. That's
That's
the exact year.
yep. That was the year that Facebook was fun.
Yeah.
Fun and new and interesting. Oh my god, kiwi and gopher. I would kill to see kiwis, like actual real kiwis. So I messed up when we were visiting the San Diego Zoo the one time I was there because I thought that, oh, kiwis are nocturnal. Let's go back this evening because we were staying for the night zoo. And I didn't realize that they had their kiwis on a flipped clock so that people could see them, which of course I should have realized. So I missed the kiwis, my one chance to see real kiwis, and I still regret that. I will just have to stay longer at San Diego one of the years when I'm not doing 5 conventions at once, and then go back and see them. See some kiwis, some good birds.
Violet is in my chat saying artificial grape is definitely Concord grapes, and that's what they're trying to emulate.
Yes. Concord grapes are delicious.
I usually, when it comes to actual grapes, like white grapes, or green grapes, however you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
The grapes that you use to make white wine rather than red wine.
Yeah.
So I think I just always liked more sour things.
Yeah. I don't have much of a tolerance for super sweet. I like my favorite pie is key lime because that's just a good pie. But also they tend not to make them very sweet. They're nice and tart. I like a lemon sorbet. Big on them
I also
sorbets.
I like savory flavors a lot.
Same.
I like pecan pie if
Oh
it's
yeah.
heavier on the pecans and less on the filling.
Yeah.
Um, uh, there was this candy shop in Alaska because I went to the Alaska Robotics like comic camp
Oh,
thing.
I would love to go to that one day.
And there's a candy shop there, and they sold white chocolate covered pecans, and I was like,
Ooh,
oh, I want these regularly in my life.
that sounds really good.
Pecans are tasty.
Pecans are very tasty. I also like the regionality of how you pronounce pecan, pecan. What's the other? There's like a third one I can never remember.
I think it's just pecan and pecan. It's crayon is the thing that
Mm,
like everyone says differently.
yeah.
Also, so there was a thing a while ago. It was something that was about like comparing different dialects in the U.S. And because you got to make a clickbait article,
Yep.
they titled it "Tiny Shellfish Are Tearing This Country Apart." Because that was the thing where it was very firm divides on if it was a crayfish, a crawfish, a crawdad.
Yep.
Um, uh,
Good old
and then
mud
the other
bugs.
thing was, um, I remember learning that the rest of the U.S. does not use the word rotary and uses roundabout instead because I
Oh,
was
really?
giving Amanda directions
Right, right,
and confused her, and
right.
only Boston calls it a rotary.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard
Um,
rotary before. It's always been a roundabout or a traffic circle.
eh, yeah, no, that was most of America. It's roundabout or traffic circle. So, and then like there was one yellow spot of just around Boston that's
That
it's a
just does its own
rotary.
thing. Just does its
Yeah.
own linguistic weirdness.
Um, and so I remember before this thing came out, saying, "So you're gonna go in the rotary," and then while giving directions to Amanda Lafreniere, and she's just like, "What?"
The what now?
Um,
Like the rotary, you know.
um, Violet is saying roundabouts and rotaries are different traffic control structures and aren't equivalent.
Interesting.
Um, are rotaries smaller? Is that the difference? Violet, I'm gonna wait for Violet to answer me.
Yeah.
It could be that rotaries are smaller because there were carriages, so
Mm,
they
maybe.
couldn't take tighter turns,
Yeah.
so they needed the little circle. Um, that's what I assume they were for. Well, anyway, Siri calls it a roundabout, not a
Right.
rotary.
That's interesting because I think I just use whatever the Google Assistant thing is, and not Siri. But it's and it may be a regional Canadian thing, but it's always traffic circle.
Um, I know, at least with Siri, what version of English you tell it, that's
Affects
what
what
it
it
will
says.
use.
Interesting.
So it says roundabout. My Siri says roundabout because I made my Siri English because I
Yeah.
think it's funny
Yeah.
to have a robot English butler.
Good.
Um,
Strong choices. I
and
approve.
but I think if you have an American or Canadian Siri, it might say traffic circle.
Yeah.
Um,
I bet there's a listing somewhere of like regional Siri variants.
Well, I know that Australian Siri is the only Siri that recognizes "g'day" as a word.
Interesting. G'day.
That's like the purpose for different regional series is it's to understand your accent.
Mm-hmm.
So I have had problems where my Siri doesn't understand me because it's British.
Right.
Like I was trying to get it to call me boss because like Siri will say like okay,
And then whatever your
and
name
then like
is.
say your name, and
Yeah.
so I wanted to say
That's
okay,
creepy.
boss.
That's creepy. It's much
Um,
better if it's boss.
yeah, so I was
I don't like
telling it to
robots
call
knowing
me
my
boss,
name.
but it kept saying bass.
Okay, Bass.
Because like it kept thinking I was saying bass
Right.
because it's an English Siri. So I ended up going with okay, call me chief. So
Nice.
um, now my Siri says okay, chief when
Hey,
I give it
hey, coach.
instructions.
Just thinking of alternatives. Yeah, I don't like my spy robot calling me by name. That's that's too weird. I don't have one because I don't want a spy robot in my house.
I mean, he's in my phone, so
Yeah,
it's
you can only
he's
escape
gonna
it
be
so
in my
much.
house. Yeah.
Our cyberpunk dystopia is very weird, and I just have to put up with
The
it.
if I didn't think my phone was eavesdropping on my conversations for ad placement purposes,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have proof now.
Yep.
Um, because I started to get a lot of ads about cancer healthcare.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh no.
after uh, a phone call with my mom.
Oh
So,
no.
but then it's also not very smart because I watched like two YouTube videos about black representation in media, and then it was selling me all this black hair care products.
Good. It's like, oh, you're
Um,
black now, and you're like, no,
yes,
no,
no, no.
no.
I was just interested. Um, I really like this YouTuber, Princess Weeks.
Mm,
And she is a black lady who does like stuff about fandom culture. And
cool.
her newest video was about her two newest videos. One was about black representation in Disney movies,
Oh
and
man.
then the one before that was about woke reboots and what makes them fail or succeed.
Right. Interesting.
Um, So yeah, she had interesting things to say. She also had interesting stuff to say about shipping stuff.
Mm.
A couple of years ago, she did a video about problematic ships. Um, because and a thing that I thought was interesting, but I hadn't thought of is so people are telling people, oh, it's problematic if you ship these characters that are children and you're an adult.
Mm.
And then her thought, she was using the argument of like, okay, well, so some of these things that people are shipping teen characters of are things they've been fans of since they were a teen and it was age appropriate.
Right.
And the
And they're
problem
still
is
just
that
into it.
cartoon characters don't grow with you.
Yeah.
They're forever teens. Um, so like, while you might have thought Asuka was hot when you first saw Evangelion,
Right. Now
um,
she's like
and
14
we're
and you're like
16.
20 and it's weird.
Yeah, it's like you saw Evangelion when you were 16 and she's 16, and
And it was
now
appropriate.
Yeah, and now you're 30 and
And now it's weird.
Asuka's still your favorite.
Yeah. That's weird.
But it's not so weird because, that's just you being attached to a character you liked as a teen.
Yeah.
So
I think I've ranted to you about this before, but I have very strong opinions about the whole, like, there's a thing in fanfic and other, and like mainstream media too, because they did this with Umbrella Academy. And it's the thing that weirded me out the most about it, which is the whole, like, well, they're not blood relations, even though they were raised from literal babies as siblings. So
oh yeah, I hate that.
if these two siblings want to bone each other, it's okay because they're not actually blood related. And I'm like, nope, still weird. Hate it.
Nope,
Hate it a
nope,
lot. Don't do
nope,
it.
and out of that
Nope,
whole
nope.
thing. Yeah,
Hate it
I
so
am with
much.
you. Alina, I call things like that my no TP.
Yup, yup, yup.
Also
Oh
included
man.
in my no TP is when characters hook up with their teen sidekick slash apprentice.
No, that's no good at all.
Uh,
Don't like that. Nope.
it
With you
seems
there.
to be
Hate
what a
it.
lot of people who
Love.
read the Dresden Files want to
Mm-hmm.
happen.
I hate it. I hate it a
And
lot.
I was like, nope, I hate this. Nope, nope, nope.
Nope. Nope. No, not doing that. There's a lot of
Uh,
people who love them some daddy fic. They're like, it's good when there's an older man and a younger person for no reason. It's real creepy. I hate it. I mean, not to yuck anyone's yum, but yuck, and I don't like it.
Listen, sometimes that daddy fic is fine if it's a like 30-year-old and a 50-year-old. I'm okay with that.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Because they're both adults and have
If one of
both
them
full people.
is a teen, just no. Just
Yeah, yeah.
no to all of
I don't
that.
support one is a teen, even if like the older character waits for the teen to not be a teen anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
still
still
like, nope,
weird.
nope, nope,
Mm-mm.
nope.
Not for me. Not for me. Thanks. But yeah, so like
I'm
the
against
whole
it.
Umbrella Academy scene where like the brother and the sister are having a romantic dance together, I was just like, I hate this entire thing. Please stop. I do not want to be watching this. I do like them and their dumbness. They're all very dumb. They're dumb characters doing dumb things. And I do want to see more of Elliot Page. So I'm excited for a new season of it. But stop dating your siblings. And then they pulled in the final season where they're like, this one's kind of a sibling too, but maybe not. But also you're already into her. And I'm like, you're just
That one
This is somebody's
doesn't.
fetish.
Yes. MT Blade in my chat is saying, yeah, that kind of thing, the adopted sibling shipping, is one of those tells that none of the show's writers were adopted or has experienced non-nuclear family units. A
Agreed.
thing that I wonder a lot about when people ship siblings,
Yep.
not even adopted siblings, just siblings in general. I wonder, is this shipper an only child?
Yes. Probably.
And then the other thing is there was the question, I forget where it came up, but in a friend group we were having the discussion of, would you fuck your like doppelganger?
Good.
And
Good. Oh, that's a.
I think
oh God.
I think it was specifically doppelganger because they didn't want to imply clone.
Right.
And
a
so
clone
the
would be a different
options
person
were,
than you, but your doppelganger would be you.
So I forget how they phrased it, but it was a way to make it vague so it's not clear.
Yes.
Like if it's you or not. So
Yeah.
the options were no, I'm straight. No, that would be like fucking my sibling.
But it's you.
No, or then one was, yeah, it's like masturbation, or
but it's
yeah,
still a different
I'm really
person.
Myself.
Fifth option, we are both too awkward to bang each other, and it would just not happen.
I think that was one. No, it would be weird. for vague reasons.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I know multiple people that are twins.
Nope. Oh,
So I'm gonna go
twincest
ask
is also a
them
thing
this
on
question. Yeah,
fanfic.net.
we'll see,
Yeah.
because they're twins, I wanted to know, like, are all the twins gonna immediately say,
No, no, literally, I have
um
known several sets of twins, and all of them would be like, hell no.
yeah, yeah,
There
that's
are no
kind of
two different people who are similar than a pair of twins.
yeah, so it was just, uh
Gross.
I thought that was funny, like, test of, like, I wonder if the people who say no, that's like incest, are all like if the twins are more likely to respond to this question with that answer.
Hmm. I think that fucking your doppelganger is less like incest is worse because at least it's your doppelganger is you, and it's less weird to be sexually attracted to yourself than it is to be sexually attracted to your sibling. That's weird.
Right, but if you have an identical twin,
But
you
that's
might
not
have a
you.
different perspective
I
on that.
guess.
Yeah.
I guess. But like your identical twin is not you, whereas your doppelganger is you, just not you.
But that's the thing is, where's the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
MT bait is saying, is it you or is it just someone that looks like you?
Right. Right.
Like your doppelganger might be like a mystical thing that came into being that just looks like you.
Also, if it was
Um,
you from a different dimension, is that actually you? Because they've had different experiences.
yes,
So
exactly.
then I think
So
we're
they
going towards more like it's just someone who looks like you. But if it's like a literal cut and paste of you right now, but they're a different person in a different body, I think that is less weird than being attracted to your sibling.
anyway,
Anyway,
um,
those are some fanfic thoughts for tonight, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for
yeah,
going on this journey with us.
Varlet is saying, that reminds me of high school when jerks would actively fish for reasons to be disgusted by me. Specifically, they constantly asked me gross questions about whether I was or would be attracted to my sister under insert some made up
Oh,
circumstance. No
gross.
matter how many times I told them, no, that's super gross, stop asking, they would still go. So
Gross.
that is horrible.
That's awful. I'm sorry you have to put up with that.
Yeah, people suck.
Two of my best friends in high school were twins, and they were the most different from each other people who still were like the closest of friends. uh, and I immensely liked hanging out with them. There was the real bright, friendly, outgoing one who was super into anime and got me into Sailor Moon in a big way. And then there's the more quiet, reserved twin who was very musical and sort of poetic and very, very quiet, subdued sort of personality. Uh, and it was always funny to watch the two of them talking because they had the twin thing where like they've had all the same shared experiences and they could like rattle off a list of things to each other that they both had references for and do the like twin talk thing where they could say like
Mhm.
half a word and the other person knew exactly what they were talking about while still being like diametrically opposite personality wise.
Um, Bones and Whitney are twins,
Mm,
and they also have kind of a like Whitney is much more blunt and direct,
mm,
uh, and Bones is much more smiley.
cool.
Mm.
My siblings and I are similar people, but with very distinctly different personalities.
Um, I have so I feel like my younger brother and I have more personality type in common, but have very
Mm.
different interests.
Oh, interesting.
Um, he's more of a jock.
Mm.
And so he doesn't know as much about nerd shit.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and
If you have devoted
he's
your life
also
to werewolves and comics.
yeah. And then uh, he is like, because he is a cis straight white guy, has the luxury of not caring about politics.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which I'm gonna be real, I'm also a very lazy person, so I think if I was in a position, that would also be probably what I would
The
take.
default, yeah.
Like just apathy rather than caring one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah. Because you can kind of just
Um,
go about your life and it's not directly impacting you.
um, so like I remember when he first visited me in Portland, because he knows that I know a lot about politics. He asked
Mm-hmm.
me what a libertarian was because a guy at work told him he thinks my brother would be
A good.
interested in being a libertarian. Um, and so then I explained it to him. Like, I was like, okay, so this is a libertarian in theory, and this is what it usually is in
Yes,
practice.
correct. Different things.
Um, but then because I already lived in Portland at the time, I was explaining to him, like, okay, so Portland has a lot of left wing people, but it also has their right wing people tend to be libertarians,
Yes,
and
yeah.
because of that,
There's tension.
they're left wingers who want everything to be more natural because that's by default better in their left wing mind, in
Mm-hmm.
this particular breed of left wing mind. Um, they and that they voted to get fluoride out of the water.
Right.
And then libertarians don't want the government putting things in their water.
So they were actually on the same side of
Um,
that.
so they ended up on the same side, and because of that, Portland is the only major city in America that doesn't have fluoride in its water.
Interesting.
Um,
Interesting. Did I ever tell
um,
you how fluoride fucked up my teeth?
you did not.
Oh man. So like in the when I was going to school in Saskatchewan, there was a program to get kids fluoride in school because they thought that there wasn't enough fluoride in the water, even though there was also fluoride in the water. So for a
Mm-hmm.
while at school, because I was Indigenous, they would give me extra fluoride supplements because I was clearly not getting enough at home. And so if you have too much fluoride, it makes white deposits go onto your teeth. And so my front teeth for years had these like bright white stains on them that looked
Yeah,
really weird.
I knew that because I think it was either Sawbones or Stuff You Should Know went over, like, there was a place in Colorado that like naturally had a shit ton of fluoride in the water.
Oh, interesting. And then they also fluorinated
And
the water.
well, no, this is like what made them realize that fluoride helps prevent cavities and stuff in low doses.
Oh, neat.
Because it was like no one had cavities, but they also had like what you were explaining with your teeth being
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
MT
yeah.
Bait is saying it was on Sawbones because they
Gotcha.
remembered on Sawbones.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was like, because this is like in the early 1800s, that it
Gotcha.
was like, huh, everyone's teeth here
Are
look
good,
weird,
but also
but
weird.
they look weird, but they don't have cavities.
So that's cool. Why is that?
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. It was years before I
uh,
knew, before a dentist that I finally switched dentists, and my new dentist was like, "Hey, do you want me to fix your teeth?" And I was like, "You can do that? I thought they were just like this forever." And he's like, "No, it's really easy actually. Give me like 10 minutes." And then my teeth got fixed,
um,
and it was great, and I like that.
anyway, after I told my little brother that story, he took a sip of tap water and said, "Ah, tastes like freedom."
Good.
Uh, And then I have two other siblings that are nerdier, but they are also shyer, and they're more homebodies than I am. They
Mm,
don't talk to as many people.
gotcha. I have my Instagram fashion model sister, who is also in the Navy, so she's very, very tough, but also very pretty. And my metalhead musician chef brother.
Mhm. It's a
So we
good
have
combo.
interests that overlap, but are also very different personality wise.
Um, it's funny because like recently there was some family stuff that I'm not going to talk about on air going
Mm-hmm.
on. And my siblings that are less proactive, um, it kind of like they were learning about it for the first time.
Right.
But like some stuff that was going on with my dad about his childhood.
Mm,
And it was like, oh, did you know that our granddad used to do this to our dad? And I was like, yeah, I've known that since before I graduated college.
right.
Did you not know that?
Yeah.
Um, MT Blade, uh, the there is a lot of dentists, like there's a lot more dental problems in Portland. When I first went to the dentist here, they looked at my teeth and immediately said, "Oh, you're not from here."
Fascinating.
So it is obvious enough that like a dentist can tell.
Whether you're from there or not.
Dentists, yeah, or like if you grew up in the
Right.
area.
They're like, oh, you got
Um,
Portland teeth.
um, and it's encouraged to get like mouthwashes with fluoride added,
Interesting.
um,
Just a supplement.
because there's none in the water. Yeah,
Does that like extend to some of the suburbs like Beaverton and stuff? Or
I
is like
don't
the water there
know if
different?
I don't know for sure. I know that it's definitely in Portland a problem, but I don't
Fascinating.
know about Beaverton and whatnot.
Fascinating.
Um,
Portland has got some weird laws. It's its own
yeah,
place. Some of them
yeah.
are old and racist. Some of them just mess up your teeth.
I'm kind of sick of Portland. I'm like maybe I should move now.
Well, it's getting expensive. Like the main reason to live there is no longer operative.
Well, I'm originally from Boston, and the Boston is was and still is more expensive than
Right.
Portland.
Yeah.
So
So that's still like whatever.
yeah. Um, I was looking at like, okay, where would I go next? And like Chicago might be good.
Mm.
Part of me misses Boston, so maybe I would suck it up and go back to Boston. Um, but also I have a lot of friends in LA, so
Right.
I'm kind of like maybe I should just move to LA. Either way, this is going to be like a in 2 years thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not an immediate thing.
not a yeah.
I think we are
Hi,
locked
Onion
in.
Night.
Oh, hey, Onion.
Uh,
I think we are locked in here in the GVA because that is where my partner's employment is. And I can kind of work from wherever.
uh,
So this is where I live now.
uh, you're in Surrey or near
Yeah,
Surrey,
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Um, every time I think of Surrey is I Patton Oswalt's book Zombie Spaceship Wasteland. The last story in it is about the worst stand-up gig he ever did,
Yes. Yes.
which was in Surrey.
Yup.
And he starts it with like Surrey is the worst place I have ever been. If there was a demon getting summoned in Surrey and only I could stop it, I would say, "Sorry, world, I'm not saving it because I refuse to return to Surrey." Um,
Good.
like that's how much he hates Surrey.
Yep.
Um, uh, but that's all I can think of is him being just that like infuriated with Surrey.
Good.
Zombie Spaceship Wasteland is a good book if you like Patton Oswalt's comedy.
Mm. I should check that out. We were having a very good conversation about comedians around the campfire the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Because both Lane and I are really into comedy, and like there are many, 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 many good comedians right now. I don't know if you are familiar with James Acaster.
No.
Oh, he's great. You may be, in fact, if you know him from the meme. So that's why I brought it up. We were talking about how he was on not Colbert, Fallon, maybe one of those late night shows, um,
Mm-hmm.
because he's got a comedy show on Netflix. So he was doing promo for that. But I mostly know him from panel shows in the UK. The latest of which was his appearance on Taskmaster, which is my favorite show in the world. I kept pretty much, except for Robot Wars or BattleBots. I do love some
Mm-hmm.
Taskmaster, and there's a new season that just dropped, so it's very good. But have you seen the Bake Off meme of a guy who goes, started baking, had a breakdown, bon appetit?
No, I have not seen
Okay,
this.
it's a very funny meme. I've seen it repurposed for a lot of things, including drawing, where it's like, started drawing a comic, had a breakdown, bon appetit, which is
uh,
very, very appropriate.
Most
Anyway,
of the
he's that guy.
comedians that I follow tell stories that are
Mm,
funny.
yeah.
Like I really like Mike Birbiglia.
Gotcha.
Um, and I like John Mulaney.
Yeah, yep.
Um,
John Mulaney has the voice of a cartoon character, and I kind of love it.
I mean, that's why he's Spider Ham.
Yes. I just rewatched
And
that movie the
he's
other night, and it's so good.
yeah, and he's in Big Mouth
Is he?
as one of the horny kids.
Oh, good.
Um,
Those weird, weird, giant-mouthed, horny children.
yeah, Nick Kroll's the other horny kid.
Hmm.
Um, and then but I just really love like he has that joke about at his time wife and now his ex-wife um where uh they were planning about doing a little photo shoot with their French bulldog.
Mm.
Um and they're like, we can recreate famous paintings
With our bulldog.
um with our French bulldog.
Good.
And then he suggested the Last Supper. And then his wife says, "Yeah, and then we could put the little turkey in the middle." And then he goes, "Wait, hold on.
There's a
What
turkey?
holiday do you think they're celebrating in the Last Supper?"
Yeah.
And she then like sighs and goes, "I get it. I'm not Catholic. I'm Jewish. I don't know these things." Like, and like, he's like, "No, no, no. We're past that. What do you think they're celebrating in
The
the
Last
Last Supper
Supper.
painting by Leonardo da Vinci?"
Yeah. Keep in mind the
And she
title
goes,
is The Last Supper.
and then she goes, "Thanksgiving."
Good.
Uh, and then I also really like Mike Birbiglia's stand-up that eventually became the movie Sleepwalk with Me.
Huh. I am unfamiliar.
Um, so Sleepwalk with Me, the movie is really just his stand-up, but as a movie.
Gotcha.
Um, and it's about how um, he's been dating this girl for a really long time. Um, and they go to a friend's wedding. Um, and then someone is like, well, when are you two going to get married?
Right.
Because he had not thought to propose to her.
Right.
And she clearly wants them to get married,
Yeah.
and that is not a thing he is ready for.
Right.
So his anxiety builds, and that like triggers a sleep disorder in him
Oh, good.
where he acts out his dreams.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Um, uh, one of which is uh, he is staying at a hotel for a comedy tour thing, and he jumps out the second story
Oh,
window.
no.
Like he dreams he's the Hulk, and then there's a bomb that is triggered to his location. So the only way for him to save everyone is to get away from everyone else.
Right. Just jump out the window.
So he turns into the Hulk, and then he jumps out the window. And then he literally jumped out the hotel window.
Oh, my God.
Um, and obviously hurt himself.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then had to explain to everyone that he was dreaming he was the Hulk,
And jumped out the window.
And jumped out the window.
Oh, no.
And in his stand-up, he has him explaining to multiple people in the hospital, I'm the Hulk, and then he gets to the doctor, and the doctor says, no, you're Bruce Banner, and he goes, touche, nerd. Anyway.
Good.
So then the conclusion of which is he finds out he has this disorder, he's reading up on it, and then one of the things about the disorder is apparently people with this disorder frequently murder their spouses in their sleep.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Because they're acting out dreams.
Right.
And so
and if there's like a scary thing chasing you in your dream.
And then they accidentally murder their spouse.
Oh, no.
And then he did not tell his girlfriend that this
no.
was a possibility.
Oh, no.
And later on, he was like, that was kind of a sign that we should have broken up.
Yeah. That's a problem.
And basically, like it got triggered and was made worse by his anxiety because he knew that he either needed to break up or get married, and he didn't really want to do either.
Right. So he was just like, now I have a sleep disorder.
So yeah, and so Sleepwalk with Me is a movie version of him coming to this conclusion.
Fascinating. Kiwi Monkey here says if there's early seasons of Taskmaster where they gave Josh Whitcomb personal tasks and he has legendary reactions. There is one where the Taskmaster makes Josh Whitcomb, I think it was Josh Whitcomb, call him? No, I don't think that was Josh Whitcomb. Anyway, one of the contestants had to call or text the Taskmaster, send him a cheeky text for the next 150 days. And he was the only contestant to have had to have done that. And was like, I spent a not inconsiderable amount of time this year on that. Like, that was one of my major tasks from this past year, was trying to compose these damn texts. That was very funny. And he only sent 149 or 148 texts instead of 150, so he didn't get any points for it.
Oh no! That's a shame.
That's very good.
But anyway, I also like Patton Oswalt's stand-up too.
Yeah, me too.
And his book Zombie Spaceship Wasteland was really good. Particularly, he has a bit in the middle where he categorizes nerds as either zombies, spaceships, or wastelands.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, I can see that.
Um, and it's kind of the pros and cons of each type of person. Um, and I forget the exact specifics of it, but I remember that like listening to his descriptions, I was like, I am most definitely a spaceship,
Oh, good.
because spaceship type nerds are the people who are prepared
Right.
um, about they like over prepare for everything.
Right.
And he says, but the problem with a lot of them is that they frequently go through life with their deflector shields up.
Right.
Uh, so they're maybe a little bit too detached.
Wasteland sounds like some chaos.
I think it was like the Wasteland one sounded like the most hopeful one, like the most optimistic of the bunch, because like they're gonna try to make something out of the Wasteland and they're curious and want to explore it.
That's cool. That's a good type of nerd to be.
But they're also like, so it's a way that unlike the spaceships who left, got just, well, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
The wastelands, they want to recover what's meaningful to them while they explore the rest of the wasteland
Neat.
and see if there is anything else that is meaningful to worth preserving. I forget the zombies, but they sounded like the most insufferable.
Yeah, I can't stand The Walking Dead.
See, and this isn't even him talking about media. These are like
This is
people
just types
types.
of, yeah. But like The Walking Dead really categorizes that kind of type of nerd who are like The Walking Dead was not about survival. It was about how awful people are to each
Mm-hmm.
other. And it was in that same vein of the uh George R. R. Martin books. Song of Ice and Fire.
Songs of Fire.
Where it's just like, look at how awful these people are to each other, and they're all gonna die, and you don't know which
Except the
ones.
Song of Ice and Fire books at least have a couple of good people in it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um,
Like anytime there was
like,
somebody who was like a half decent person in the zombie books, you're like, oh, this person is dying in a horrible way. They're just here to make the audience sort of feel for them, and then they're gonna die in the worst way possible.
whereas like in Song of Ice and Fire, you have, yes, Ned dies, but then all of the North like goes to war for his memory because he was such
Yes.
a great guy.
Yeah.
And then even though they're losing, like they continue to war on because his memory, like
Yeah.
they're willing to fight a lost cause because
Because
he
he
was
was a
such
good
a,
guy.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
a good man and a good leader, and like if we can't avenge him, we'll at least go out trying.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so one of the big Game of Thrones theories, because you know I love to read them
Oh
theories,
yes.
is that there's a bunch of the Northern Lords are just like plotting something complicated to just screw over everyone that fucked over the North.
Good.
Uh,
The North.
yeah, because it's stuff like specific lines of dialogue that are said like in the Bolton's presence, and like there's a lot of build up to, and like one of them like is very clearly like killing all the Freys in secret,
Right. Right.
and is not even like being slick about it. He's just like doing it and like,
It's like, what you gonna do about
prove
it?
it.
Good.
um so like yeah, it's kind of like the Stark patriarch dies and everyone wants to do everything in his name.
Mm-hmm.
The Lannister patriarch dies and everything the Lannisters ever built
falls apart.
falls apart and
Yep.
all their enemies come out to get them.
Yep.
So it's kind of short term versus long term gain.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, Walking Dead is just like
Who's gonna die this week?
libertarian, like
Yes.
wet gun violence, wet
Yep.
dream.
Not my cup of tea.
I forget who I was talking to when I brought this up, but I've definitely said it on panels before while talking about um, werewolves being the proletariat.
Yes, yeah. And
But
vampires being
like,
the 1%.
whereas zombies are very much like what the 1% thinks of the poor.
Yes. Yes, that they will just consume everything and they are unchecked. But they're also stupid
Mm.
and easily controlled if you are smart enough, controlled and gotten around. Because that's the whole thing of the zombie movies. It's always like, but if you're smart and canny enough, you can survive. Like libertarian preppers who go off into
Yeah,
the woods and then
yeah.
don't actually survive.
And compassion is dumb, and
Yeah.
like it's very anti
Yeah.
anything good about humanity. I hate zombie things.
Yeah. I can't remember who I was having an argument with, but they were saying something about like, yeah, but what if vampires were, and I can't remember what they were putting them in, and I was like, that wouldn't work though, because vampires are a stand-in for the 1%. And this scenario that you have posited requires them to be from an oppressed background. And they were like, oh, I
I
hadn't
mean,
considered that. And I'm
you
like, I.
I mean, you can make the vampires not a stand-in for the 1%.
But like generally,
Like
they are. That is their role in the
yeah,
supernatural.
I think I was talking to you when I mentioned that like um a YouTuber I like was like, "Hey, has anyone um played with like the werewolves are the Nazis and
Oh
vampires
yes,
are
yeah, yeah. You were telling me
Jews?"
about that. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like, well, to see that doesn't work because then you're making your Jewish stand-ins like literal bloodsuckers.
yeah.
Like,
Which is, that's nope. Don't do that, please.
yeah.
But also, they control
MT
secret
Blade
wealth
said
because
vampires basically
vampires.
range from Hugh Hefner at best and Epstein at worst in terms
Mm-hmm.
of friendliness. Um, I think that vampires are billionaires. Um, so even when they think they're being nice, they're hurting the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and werewolves are cool.
Werewolves are very cool. Werewolves have to fight the system.
Yeah.
These guys are coming together nicely, I think.
This is a pro werewolf stream.
Very pro werewolf. We like some good woofs.
Trying to think if I've read some good woofs lately.
I've not read any good woofs, but I've read some good cyberpunk.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
There was this one, I think I mentioned it, called Trouble and All Her Friends, that
Mm-hmm.
I found that was the first and only piece of uh, female authored sci-fi or cyberpunk that I've sought out. There's a couple others still on my to read list, But this author is queer, and she made the hackers in this like a not even a queer allegory. Like they're just all queer, and there are other hackers who hate them because they are queer, but also because they use a specific type of equipment that lets them sort of get their brains deeper into the matrix and have more input from it.
Hmm.
And they try to justify it by being like, "Oh yeah, well if you were actually any good, you wouldn't need this like special equipment. So you're just using it as a crutch." When in fact the other hackers are actually scared of this technology. And in the end, it's like, hey, so guess what? In this like awful dystopia, collective action works sort of. When
Good.
the government
Hooray.
outlaws this brainworm, the thing that makes them better at hacking than other hackers, they're like, yes, but it is still worth doing, even if what we are doing is illegal. We should still do it because it
Hmm.
gives queer people like us a way to make money and get ahead in this world and survive, and also a sense
Cool.
of community. And I was like, that's a good message. I like that. Anyway, highly
Um,
recommend Trouble and All Her Friends. Very good cyberpunk.
yeah. Empty Blade. Here's a question. How much of Sorcery 101 is canon to City Between? I know the characters carried over between, but how much of their backstory has come with them?
Ooh.
MT Blade, um, vaguely, their backstory is going to be mostly the same, but a good rule of thumb is if it doesn't come up in the comic, it's not canon yet. So like because basically while doing City Between, I wanted to like change some world building stuff because obviously like City Between world they don't use cars on the regular basis. um, and the cops are going to work a little bit differently, which I'll get into in later comics. But some of the stuff that was backstory for Sorcery 101, I kept for City Between, but most of that backstory never actually even made it into Sorcery 101. Um, like, I'm still gonna have Connor went to a boarding school for most of his education, and that his family was really wealthy. Um, but like the details are gonna be slightly different. But I don't think I in Sorcery 101, and I never really got into Connor's specifics of his backstory, like that his was a senator and his mom was his dad's campaign manager, um, and that his parents were sort of disinterested and kind of neglectful, which is why they sent him to boarding school. Um, but uh, Connor did get bit by Jeff when they were teenagers. I might change it from the kiss thing, um, but I haven't decided yet. Um, so some of it basically is the answer. Um, and obviously, Rebecca still has both werewolf powers and elemental powers. Uh, but I don't use the word mages anymore. I use Thalmanips instead. Because I learned that there is more pop culture baggage to mage than I thought when I started Sorcery 101. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, basically the mages in Sorcery 101 world and in City Between world, they're basically benders like an avatar.
Oh, okay.
Um,
They're not
um,
like D&D wizard kind of.
yeah, I got a lot of like, I got a very long angry letter about how Danny's not really a sorcerer, he's a wizard and they're different, and you should stop calling him a sorcerer because,
He's not.
like, Allie's actually more of a sorcerer since her stuff is like comes from her.
Gotcha,
And
gotcha.
like, so it's like, so you got your terms mixed up. So,
And you're like,
uh,
well,
I
okay.
Okay, so in City Between, they're called Thalmanips, which is short for Thaumaturgic Manipulator.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's like just one of the names that people call them,
Right.
because other people are just going to call them elementals. But I wanted to have my own term for it. I also am going to try to think of a new term for Danny's situation. In Sorcery 101, Alina, Danny is magically bound to a vampire, so he does not
Mm,
get older,
gotcha.
and he doesn't get sick, but he doesn't have any like powers beyond that.
Right, right.
Because in both of them, it's basically if you get vampire blood when you are about to die, you become a vampire. But if you get vampire blood in any other circumstance, you get this sort of half step into vampirism, which is what Danny has.
Gotcha.
So he um, can't get sick, he doesn't age, um, and his body is sort of stuck at when it happened.
Yep.
So if he cuts his hair, it will grow back to the state that it was when it happened, but it
Gotcha.
won't grow any longer than that.
Okay.
Um,
Because his body's sort of now unchanging.
yeah.
Cool.
Um, so he can never uh, recover from smoking.
Gotcha.
He will always be bad at breathing. So I want to think of a new term for that because I was copying the term from another vampire book. And since it's the only vampire book that I've seen use it, it's sort of obvious for people who read both where I
Okay,
took it
gotcha.
from.
They're like, oh yeah, we know this one.
And I actually had someone thought that Sorcery 101 started as a fanfic for that thing.
Oh really? And you're like,
And while I was
no.
influenced by it, it wasn't ever fanfic.
Right.
So I kind of need to come up with a new term for that. MT Blade is going, but he also can't get any worse from smoking. Yes, that's
True.
correct. He cannot.
True.
His lungs cannot get worse, but they also cannot recover. Uh, but also MT Blade, I haven't decided about the werewolf cure in Sorcery 101 carrying over. Partly because I kind of like that there is a cure, but narratively might be better if there isn't a cure. I'm going to do what feels right in the moment.
Cool.
Um,
Just as
I
long as it
also
isn't the was it Lost Boys where the cure is just a blood transfusion?
that's not Lost Boys.
Oh no, that's not Lost Boys. That's oh heck, what is that one?
That's the thing that came out like the same year as
Yes.
Lost Boys, and
Yes.
people didn't like it because the vampires weren't pretty.
Oh.
Um,
I mean, Lost Boys is just great.
um,
Those
I mean, they got that
goddamn
weird
vampires.
saxophone man.
Yes, such a good movie. I
Lost
watched.
Boys also makes so much more sense. I found out recently, like while looking into like the development of Lost Boys,
Mm-hmm.
originally the vampires were all gonna be like 13, 15-year olds.
That makes
Like
sense.
they're gonna be
Yes, like children.
like
Like this was gonna be.
children.
This was literally the
Because
Lost Boys from Never Never, like
yeah,
Peter Pan,
yeah.
but vampires.
And then like uh Joel Schumacher's like, well then I can't make them sexy.
That's
Uh
true,
and
and you shouldn't, because that's weird.
he's like, so now they're all older, so I can make them sexy. And then we can have our weird saxophone man interlude.
Yes. Yes.
But like, there's clearly some signs that they were like 12 because if at the beginning they're just like dicking around on the boardwalk like
Yes.
troublemaker kids.
Yep.
Like,
I know you're like, I love these shitbag vampires. They're just causing trouble for no reason. It's great.
like they're behaving the way like shitty 13-year-olds do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love it. Good.
even though they look like they're 20.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I am about wrapping up here. How about you?
Oh, I guess I am also almost done. Thanks everyone for popping into the stream. We will stream. Is you still good for next week?
I believe so, yeah. I think I'm
All
back to a
right.
more normal schedule now. But like
Uh,
last minute meetings have been the past couple weeks.
yeah. I'm not streaming tomorrow because I'm going to Joe's wedding and
Yay!
Joe can't stream
Congrats, Joe.
for obvious reasons. Um, uh, but yeah, stop by next week where there will be more streaming. MT Bade. I can answer all of your questions about the city between and what's different between Sorcery 101. Because yeah, I got a lot of stuff that I changed.
Cool. Cool, cool. And I am streaming on Friday, I believe. We got another Trash Heroes episode, so come watch some silly
Yeah,
D&D.
yeah. All right. Later, everyone. Y'all have a
Yeah.
good night.
Thanks for joining us. It was lots of fun. I
Bye.
will talk to you later.
Bye.